What's going on, guys? Glad to be back. Glad to be back with the whiteboard. I know a lot of you out there have been missing this, and in this particular video that I'm bringing it back for, I'm going to be talking about health. It's a good expertise of mine that I can fall back on and discuss when a lot of the political stuff out there gets crazy on the internet. So we're going to be talking about health, and more specifically, we're going to be talking about vaccine programming, vaccine brainwashing that a lot of people I see still have going on up in their heads. I've seen quite a bit online, especially lately, well-intentioned people, but they still parrot the establishment science, the deep state talking points on vaccines. So we're going to be discussing that. It's going to be a quick video, just have a few bullet points that I'm going to roll through. Undoing vaccine programs. So let's start off. Number one, vaccines did not, and I repeat, did not eradicate infectious diseases in the mid-1900s when many of them were first introduced. So I hear a lot that people say, what about polio? What about whooping cough? What about all these diseases that vaccines eradicated? And actually, that is not true. Vaccines were not the cause of these disease rates being wiped out. In fact, it was better nutrition, better sanitation, and I would actually say the advent of the highway system, the Eisenhower highway systems that were able to transport food and things like that much faster around the country. These reasons were the actual causes in the decline of infectious disease rates. So, better nutrition. We were eating, like I said, the advent of the highway system. We were able to transport foods around and refrigeration systems, technologies like that. So people were eating much more balanced diets. Not only was their lifespan beginning to increase, but also their immune systems were much stronger. Stronger immune systems, better diets, healthier people, less disease rates. And not only that, but sanitation as well. Indoor plumbing did wonders for disease rates because we weren't drinking shitty water and pissing in the back alleys anymore. Things were a lot cleaner, if you know what I'm saying. So these were the real reasons that disease rates fell in the mid-1900s. Vaccines were conveniently introduced very soon after these disease rates began falling. For instance, polio, whooping cough, name the disease, they already declined an average between 90 and 95% before the vaccines were even introduced. Vaccine introduced, falsely attributed, boom, very conveniently written into the medical textbooks that vaccines were the cause. You see how easy it is to frame people's minds when you own the media and own the textbook printers. So there's that, and also one thing that goes to note here, also the idea of redefinition. Redefining disease was also very convenient to make it look like that vaccines were the real cause of getting rid of diseases. So, for example, look into polio. So, when the polio vaccine was introduced, that very same year, there was a very convenient redefinition of what polio was. And you'll notice when they redefined it, they actually began saying that a lot more people had meningitis instead of polio because they classified the symptoms a little bit differently. So a lot more people began being diagnosed with meningitis instead of polio. And also there's a lot of new diseases that's entered the picture in the last few decades since the polio vaccine was introduced. You'll notice diseases like acute myelitis, paralysis, something to that effect, Guillain-Barré is another one. There's a lot of diseases that have surfaced that are polio. They're polio. They're just renamed, redefined. So it artificially de-inflates the polio numbers to make it look like, again, the disease went away, when either it really didn't or the actual decrease in the disease was because of non-vaccine reasons. So that's point number one. Point number two, vaccines do cause all kinds of health problems. Absolutely. It's like black and white. Not many things are black and white in society, but this is one of those things, because if you take a vial of aluminum hydroxide and thimerosal, mercury, and polysorbate 80, and various DNA combinations, whatever the hell else is in there, we'll actually talk about what else might be in there in the next point. But heavy metals, especially, when you take that shit, put it in a vial, inject it right into your bloodstream, that's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. I don't know what people are expecting, thinking that that's not good. Apparently, some study comes out of some medical journal that some paid-off doctor stamps his name on, calls it good that no, vaccines and aluminum don't cause autism. Of course it does. Causes all kinds of neurodevelopmental dysfunction, not just developmental dysfunction in kids like autism, ADD, emotional instability, all kinds of brain issues, but elderly people, Alzheimer's. Direct aluminum toxicity of the brain in Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, memory loss, dementia. And not just that, not just diseases that screw up your nervous system, but your immune system as well. Because vaccines do not promote the natural state of immunity. They promote hyperimmunity or autoimmunity. When you're injecting all that shit into you, your body's like, what the hell? What the hell are you doing? All this stuff unnaturally getting into the body, into the blood all at once, your body goes into a defense mode. So, for instance, many vaccines are made or preserved in peanut oil and egg proteins. Eggs are often used to culture the viral matter in for vaccines. So, many vaccines, you're either injecting peanut oil or egg proteins right in your body, and what happens? Well, those egg proteins or that peanut oil is not going through your natural digestive tract. It's not being broken down as it should in your body. It's being injected in directly into the bloodstream. Egg proteins that aren't supposed to be in the bloodstream. That's why we're seeing so much peanut allergies and so much by way of egg allergies as well. Big reason is vaccines. They do cause all kinds of issues, neurologically, immune-wise, and so on and so forth, hormonally as well. Next point, vaccines contain poisons that are not disclosed, that many of the scientists, even researching, creating, studying vaccines, aren't even aware of. You gotta understand the compartmentalization of it all, and many doctors and scientists and health researchers out there, they're just blissfully unaware. And they have super inflated egos, they think they're doing a service to humanity, but they don't realize, can't admit to themselves that they've been duped. So this fact, vaccines contain poisons not disclosed, not known. How do we know? Well, there's independent researchers and whistleblowers that have come out telling us these things, telling us what they found. And some of the things that we have found are nanoparticles, nanoparticulates in the vaccines themselves that have only been found through very specialized tests. And, not only with this point, but a lot of these points. I'll link a bunch of corroborating articles down below. But the specific study that was done to find the nanoparticles in vaccines tested, I think, 40 some odd vaccines and found that every single one had nanoparticles, very toxic nanoparticles in them. They tested a few animal vaccines as a comparison group, and they actually found no nanoparticles in the animal vaccines. They were only in the human ones. So it kind of, you go to wonder, were they purposely put in there? And if so, by who? But of course, that we can just speculate on that. Be wary of those nanoparticles, and also be wary of something called mycoplasma. I'm probably going to do a video in the near future just on mycoplasma itself, because this has a whole connection into chronic fatigue and other autoimmunity disorders. But for a quick tidbit on what mycoplasmas are, they're basically very primitive bacteria that have no cell wall, and they're often used in studies, in genetic studies by pharmaceutical giants, and they're often used to create biowarfare agents. And there's a man named Dr. Garth Nicholson, that's how you spell it, Nicolson, if you can read my chicken scratch there. Dr. Garth Nicholson, I'll link a video of his down below. He actually did specific tests on vaccines and found that most all vaccines he tested were infected with mycoplasmas. And these mycoplasmas are very virulent. They're very, they're not toxic per se. Well, they are toxic, but what they do is they're parasitic. So they basically suck nutrients out of your body, and that's why you don't die. You don't necessarily, it's a soft kill per se. They make you sick and tired, which is exactly where Big Pharma wants us. They don't want healthy humans, they don't want dead humans. There's only money in sick, unintelligent humans. So be wary of the mycoplasma, guys. This is why detoxifying your body is so crucial. Another video I will make very soon is on various means to detoxify yourself from these particulates, aerosol particulates, toxins in our food supply and in our environment, all of that. So beware at this point, all the poisons in vaccines that many people don't even know of. And then last thing is that you can find schools and doctors that will accept you. This is a common fear tactic. A lot of fear tactics go on with vaccines and every other topic that the establishment wants to screw our minds with, but especially when it comes to vaccines, a lot of fear. And one of those big fear points is the fact that, if you don't get your shots, you're not going to be able to see a doctor, you're not going to be able to go to school, you're not going to be a normal, functioning, stat quo human being in society, all this bullshit, right? That's not true. Yes, there might be doctors and schools out there who aren't privy to your choices. I've dealt with that. I've been kicked out of a doctor's office refuse service because I straight up told him, no, I'm not going to do shots for my little guy. And he refused me, but I didn't let that get to me. I know that, some doctors are just painfully unaware. Poor souls, truly poor souls. So I went to the next number on the list and boom, they accepted me, went into the office, did the checkup and all that. He had to articulate some random, biased talking points to me and check that off the list, but I was just like, yeah, whatever, go ahead. No fluoride drops, no shots, none of this. And then we went on our way. So it was all good. Most schools, most states, if you will, they have not just religious exemptions. Even if you aren't religious, just claim it's against your church of whatever the case is, and states won't be able to do anything to you. And many states also have philosophical exemptions along the lines of religious, or again, whatever the case is. Do what you need to do to avoid that. And again, if they refuse you, screw them. Move on. Find somebody else. There will always be somebody else. Don't get caught up in the fear tactics that your last option, your last chance is vaccines, because it's not. So reject the poison, guys. Reject the poison, and I hope this video here, these points, will help you to reject the propaganda. Again, there's so many programs in our heads about health, about politics, about spirituality, about technology, science, all of it. So video by video, bit by bit, piece by piece, we all share this information, and we all increase the collective consciousness enough to where we can create some new paradigms, much better paradigms on this planet for ourselves. That's all for this one. Peace.